Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jenny Westerkamp. I am the founder of All Access Dietetics, and I'm here today to share with you three common mistakes that applicants make. And so we're going to go through kind of the reality of this application process, go through three mistakes that I see. You're going to be probably surprised by what they are. It's not grammar errors or, applying to too many programs. It's going to be some really fundamental things that I think applicants don't do that prevents them from getting into their dream program. So we'll go through those and then wrap up with some free resources that you can take advantage of to continue your application journey and get some support and encouragement along the way. So first, let's start with some truths about this, some realities about the application process. So number one, you are ranked by your program directors or graduate school admissions directors on your GPA, your experience, and the quality of your application. Now, I highlight and I bold the quality of your application because this is where there's a gap. When you think about the fact that other students have similar GPAs, similar experiences, what the differentiator can be at this point in the process is the quality of your personal statement, your resume, how well you interview, the relationships that you create with the programs, the program research that you do to apply to the right programs and line yourself up with them. I mean, there's so much that you can do that gets incorporated into the ranking that you are for that program. And I say ranking because in the traditional computer matching, they get all their applicants, all these directors get their applicants, and they rank them in the order that they want them. And that plays into whether or not you get matched to that program. Now, the same thing would be true for a graduate school, which maybe doesn't use computer matching, but they are ranking their applicants. They only have so many spots, and they want to offer those spots to their top applicants. All right, so that's the first reality. The second is that this is a competition, and unfortunately, that stresses people out, but it's true in that the match rate for those programs in diecast are is it 65%, and half of the spots that are available in the traditional computer matching are distance spots. So if you're not interested in a distance program, that means that that match rate might be deceivingly high. Okay. Many programs that are traditional can get 80 plus applicants for less than 15 spots. So you really want to understand that this is a competition and you have to do everything you can to stand out from the competition, improve the quality of your application, make sure you're applying to the right programs, and kind of go all in on this. But here's the final reality: you've never done this before, or you've never done this before successfully, right? Like if you're a repeat applicant, it is a very daunting process. There are a lot of details, a lot of steps you have to take, and a lot of strategy that you can do that can be really effective. So you want to ask yourself, like, what actions do you need to take to make sure you get a program, get into your top program or one of your programs, and achieve your goals of becoming a dietitian. You really want to have an action plan for this. And I think it's great that you're here listening to this video. That's definitely part of the plan of making sure that you're not making some common mistakes and you're setting yourself up for success to be a competitive applicant, to have a quality application, and to make your goals come true. All right, that's my pep talk to start. Now let's get into the agenda. I will talk about the application process, the three mistakes, and then the free resources, the Dietetic Internship toolkit that you could take advantage of to continue improving your application and understanding this whole process. First, with the application process, I just detailed out the high level areas of the application process, from program research, director communication, talking to program directors and even interns and past interns and current interns, kind of like along with program research. Those two things sort of play in together. And then you have the actual application itself, which will include an essay or a personal statement, your resume, your actual application, whether that's diecast or a graduate school application. You have references, not just asking people to be references, but meeting with them and giving them samples of your work and things that they can use to write quality references. And then the computer matching component, as well as all the different extras like searching for preceptors if you're doing a distance program, supplemental materials, things you might have to do just within diecast or within a grad school application. And then also taking the GRE, and spending time even at open houses, things like that. All of those things go into the application process. Let's dive into the first mistake. And I created these like stories because I've spoken to so many students now over the last 13 years that All Access Dietetics has been going, and I've learned that there's three people or three like characters that I can explain these mistakes through because I've seen them happen before, and I feel like it'll help really drive home the point of what these mistakes are and how to avoid them. So first we have nervous Natalie. Natalie thinks director communication is scary. She's nervous. What will I say to them? Won't I be bothering them? What if I ask questions that are on the, I meant to say website there, on the website? Why would I need to do that? So Natalie needs to understand that there are benefits to having director communication and contacting them. Number one, you create a professional relationship and you build rapport. Like this can be a personal thing, like within a professional context where they can get to know you. They can do a Zoom call with you. They can get on the phone with you and just understand you as a person, who you are beyond your application. If you have good communication skills and a good strategy here, it can really set you apart, and they're going to have good thoughts and just add to your ranking in terms of like, they now are more confident in you that you could be a great intern because they know you personally, and now they might rank you a little higher on their list. Then you also can find out more about the program and how it aligns with your goals and what you want to do or accomplish in your first few years as a dietitian. I can tell you right now that many program websites are not very good. They're not great at marketing themselves, which is really unfortunate. I've spoken to so many directors of programs, and I'm like, wow, if only they put more of that information on their website, or if they just sold it a little bit better, they'd get so many more applicants, or they'd find like, people that would really think this was interesting. And so that's what the point of digging deeper and finding out more about the program is, so that you can make a more informed decision and not just judge it by the quality of their website. And then you can mention this in your personal statement. So you can use this as evidence that you are really interested in this program. You set up an interview with the director, you had a phone call, or you attended their open house, and you can remind them that in the personal statement. And finally, this can reduce your nerves for the interview. The fact that you maybe have had conversations with the director, now when you go to do the interview, it's not so scary. You're not feeling like, oh, I don't even know what the director will be like. You already know them. You have a sense of what to expect, and that can help you feel more prepared and ready for the interview, which we know a lot of people that have really failed on the interview in terms of getting making the nerves be too much, and it really throws them off. So anything you can do to be less nervous is a good strategy. So here are some common mistakes that people make then with communicating with directors. They will have spelling or grammar errors in their email. They will have poor professionalism in terms of using like shorthand, or not doing complete sentences in an email, whatever that is. And then they also share no details about themselves or their background. They might say, hi, I'm Natalie from University of Illinois. I'm interested in your program. Here are some questions. Would you be able to answer them? She didn't give any introduction. She didn't share her background, her goals, her interests, what she's currently doing. She didn't really pitch herself, and she missed an opportunity there. And then finally, they might ask questions from the website or too general of questions. You really want to personalize your questions, make sure that you get good information that you can use to make a decision, and to include in your personal statement about why the program could be a good fit for you. All right, so that's nervous Natalie, and that mistake around not communicating with directors in a really strategic way because you're too nervous. So that's the first one I see. The second mistake is procrastinating Patricia. I'm sure we can all relate depending on when you're listening to this and when your deadline is. You may have thought, oh, I was definitely planning to start earlier than when I am actually starting. So Patricia here would be someone that would say, hey, I'll start in the summer when I'm done with school. Okay, then they're like, have a great summer. They'll start right when they get back to school. They don't do that. I'll start when I have that fall class that covers applications. They might do that, but those classes, from what I've heard across the country, they tell you what to do, but they don't tell you the strategy of how to do it really well or how to stand out. And you don't really get that one-on-one support. So it's a good that it's there, but it's never really enough. There's so much work that goes into it outside of it, and you starting early is still really, really important. But let's say, you're in the fall and now you're thinking, okay, maybe I'll start during my break. There's always homework and midterms and things, or holidays, family things that can get in the way. And now we're at the point, let's say it's a February deadline. You're like, I'll start winter break. That's a bad idea. You're missing out on so much strategy that you could have done earlier on. Why do you want to start early? You want to spend more time on program research and contacting directors. You want to understand what it takes to be competitive so you can still add in those experiences and resume boosters before it's too late. You want to focus on your final semester and your grades there to give your GPA a boost. If you are a traditional student that's still in school before they apply, you don't want to be distracted by other things if and have it impact your grades, or you're just feeling so much more stressed. Obviously, starting early means it's less stressful, and you can space things out over time. Work all the different check boxes that you need to do into your plan so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming. I mean, we do this with our coaching clients where we are detailing it out like a calendar or a syllabus, depending on when they start coaching, and make sure that we're spreading it out, that they're doing things at the right time, and they're being really strategic with their time. I know many students are like, the first thing they think they should do is open up a DICAS application. I'm like, no, that's like the 17th thing you should do, because there's so many other things to do before then. And they'll think that they need to wait until DICAS opens to start, which they usually DICAS opens in December, like in the summer for the fall deadline. And no, that's not the case. You can start early, you can start right now. And there's so much that you could do before then. How do you start early? Here are my steps that I suggest to you. So a lot of times, like, the procrastination is can be hidden in like perfectionism, and that, oh, I need to do it perfect, and you don't know how to do that, so then you just procrastinate. Or there's overwhelm or fear around like what you even want, and just thinking about like this big life decision you have to make. So my first step in actually getting started is decide right away, like think about if you do need support or coaching right away, because you don't have to go into this alone. If you decide that you do want to do our coaching program, Get Matched Coaching, just decide right away. You don't have to have anything done, and that will allow you to figure out, okay, will I have help with this, or am I deciding not to have help with this? And then you go from there. Don't try to like do it on your own first and then come back and like figure out if you want coaching, because you've just wasted time there. It's not efficient, and you just want to make the decision, like research it, look into it, talk with me, make the decision. And if you don't want to do it, then move on and go on it alone. So that's the first step. And then from there, like if we had coaching clients getting started, we'd have them look at program websites, just like 20 to 30 program websites, so that they understand the differences, the big picture, kind of see the variety. Even if they don't want to go to those programs, it just really helps to understand the field and like the landscape of it. Define who you are as an applicant, like what your unique story is, how you're different, what your goals are, really like dive into that. And then fill in any experience gaps that you might have. Things like a virtual internship that you could easily add, or a club that you could join, or some leadership initiative that you could create on your campus or in your community. Think about what you're sort of missing after looking at the program websites and defining who you are. Like, see what you need to do action wise before you apply, so that you can kind of round out your whole story as an applicant. All right, so that was procrastinating Patricia, and the final mistake character here is self-doubt Samantha. Samantha does not think that she is ready to become a dietitian, or she feels self-conscious or doubts herself in terms of she doesn't think she has what it takes to get accepted. Maybe she has a couple C's in science classes. She didn't get the clinical experience. Let me tell you that there's so much around mindset that really plays a part in this application process. So what happens when you doubt yourself is you're going to naturally like bring up negative things in your application, in your personal statement. You won't sound confident in interviews. You will not feel motivated to put energy into your applications, because you'll feel like, what's the point? You really won't go all in on yourself. And even, the focus or like just being able to write a good personal statement, it's going to be harder if you don't believe in yourself and you don't have that confidence. So, what can you do to increase your confidence and get rid of that self doubt? So, number one, get excited about your career as a dietitian. Research different careers that you can have, talk to dietitians, try to get excited about the why, like why you're doing this, why you're wanting to make this happen. Then you want to reflect on all the hard work that you have done. This really helps with imposter syndrome and thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not ready. Make a list of all the things that you've already accomplished, all the things that you know that you didn't know 2, 3 years ago, and reflect on that. Write that down. That will really help. And then the third thing is to understand the strategies and how to stand out. I always say that preparation increases confidence. When you are prepared, when you have the strategy, when you know how to do something, you're so much more equipped to do it and to do it really well. That's where the Get Match coaching comes in, and our free resources. They really help you improve the quality of your application so that you can stand out in every step of the process. Then you want to have an application game plan. You want to give yourself more deadlines, not just the one deadline for when the application is due. You want to have a whole like syllabus figured out and like a time frame for that. And then if you do feel like you need more confidence, the number one reason people get match coaching is to increase their confidence in themselves and their chances of getting into their program. And so that is one way you can do that. You can hire an expert coach, and that coach will give you the accountability, the strategy, all the support that you need to go through this and give yourself the best chance of getting your top internship program or graduate school program. To wrap things up here, the 3 mistakes: don't be nervous to talk to directors, have a strategy around it, don't procrastinate. Make a decision right away. If you're listening to this, give yourself 3 days to make a decision on if you want to get support with Get Match coaching. Don't doubt yourself. Try to increase your confidence with those tips that I told you. Or if you do feel like you need to get a coach, that is definitely going to increase your confidence. We've worked with over 1,800 applicants and have 100% match rate or success rate from the last 2 application rounds. So you definitely be working with an expert to get you through this and make it a success. Now, to wrap up on the free resource, definitely get our free dietetic internships toolkit. These are samples of resources that we use in our coaching program. So you're going to get expert strategies, just a lot of big picture information, and even a database of like all the internships and accredited future education model programs that you can have access to, so that you can do a good job at program research and just understand all of the different ways to stand out and to avoid common mistakes besides the ones that we talked about here. And then if you're interested in Get Match coaching and working one-on-one with a coach, you can learn more at allaccessdietetics.com/getmatchcoaching. And finally, follow us on Instagram. We have our main account, which is All Access Dietetics, for lots of fun memes and reels. And then our Get Match Coaching Instagram for more like valuable resources and tips and strategies and motivation around the application process. All right, so that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you got a lot out of this and you kind of understand these 3 big mistakes around, avoiding communication with directors, procrastinating, and then having self-doubt. Those are 3 fundamental things that we see, and really the transformation that we see when we work with our Get Match coaching clients is we make sure that they are communicating with directors and they have a solid strategy to stand out outside of the application. We make sure that they don't procrastinate. We give them a roadmap. We hold them accountable to deadlines. And then we really eliminate that self-doubt by being their cheerleader and showing them how they can be marketable and how they can use their past experiences and skills and use that as a positive in their application and not a negative, and really market themselves, sell themselves, so they know and they believe that they're worthy of getting an internship. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. And please do get the free resource, the Dietetic Internships Toolkit. Visit our website. You'll find it under the freebies section, or just go to the direct link. And we hope to help you get through this process and reach your dreams of becoming a dietitian. Thanks so much for your time, and good luck to everyone applying this year.